What do you think is the biggest misconception of people, like, because you talked about the young girl and we've talked about you,
Mhm.
that there is a grace over people that have that fruit of the spirit where joy is coming off of them.
Mhm.
Is it a misconception then to just assume that everything is good with them and they're just
Yeah.
joyful?
Well, we talk about joy, right? And it's the fruit of the spirit, and it's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness,
Hmm.
faithfulness, gentleness, and
Hmm.
self-control. And I actually believe that they all um, work together,
Hmm.
and there's a maturing of
Hmm.
the fruit. But no, and right, there's a dichotomy. A lot of times I think we get confused and we say this is this, but there's also this. It's this is this
Yeah.
and so joy is that's where we're going,
Yeah.
right? Joy and peace, I think, are such good friends. And along with all of the other fruit that the spirit produces, right? We can't force that. We can't produce that. And I think sometimes as believers, we try to outwardly produce something that we are not inwardly. We try to exemplify, is that the correct term? I like to make up words and sometimes just say things that don't make sense. But we try to outwardly be what has not inwardly manifested because
Hmm.
we think that fake it till you make it, like mentality. And sometimes we want people to see something that is not present. And if I can encourage people before I actually even answer what you asked, if I can encourage people, the Lord
Sure.
is the one that's going to do the work. He begins the work and he finishes the work. He's not withholding. He's not holding back a level of joy that you're looking for, or peace, or any of the other fruit that the Spirit brings, because the Spirit brings it. He's not withholding it, so we don't have to like work our way into it,
Hmm.
which I think we
Hmm.
do, or we try to convince ourselves because of what we see. And now I'm going to get into
Hmm.
answering your actual question, because what we see in other people, we think, well, if I can just maybe mimic or do what they're
Right.
doing, I'll have what they have, because we can't actually define or explain when we see something true and
Yeah.
authentic in another human being and we want it. So our tendency is to say, well, if I just do what they're doing, or if I just
Sure.
somehow get close or just kind of mimic what that is, I'll have what they have. And yet it's a work of the Holy Spirit. And the only way that that happens is when we yield ourselves. And maybe it's because we recognize it in someone else and we see something and we're like, I want that, that we kind of come back and we inversely say, okay, why don't I have that? And it's not because there's something innately wrong with me, but Lord, what are you actually saying to me when I am seeing that in that person? And there's like a
Mm.
longing, like the Holy Spirit in me is saying, hey, that's available for you.
Hmm.
And it's not just for them. And it's not just an outward expression, it's an inward, it's an inward thing. And so
Hmm.
I can be in joy while I'm weeping. I can be in a
Hmm.
place and the presence of the joy of the Lord. I carry joy, even in the trial. I
Hmm.
carry joy, right? And that's
Hmm.
that's. I'm not saying it like this is what I do. I'm saying it as believers that there is joy in every part of the journey, and sometimes it doesn't look like it's there, and we don't feel it, but we constantly remind ourselves. We go back, like
Yeah.
you said with
Posture.
David.
Yeah.
When David wrote that, he was not in a good place.
Mm.
And he was like, create in me a clean heart, O God, and
Yeah.
renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from your presence. He's in a moment where he is like not battling or wrestling with God, but he is what I can only assume. Again, this is not, we're ordinary believers,
Mm.
right? When
Well,
I
we're
read
ordinary.
that,
Right.
You might be
when I
extraordinary.
read that, I have been in that place
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
I have done wrong, and
Sure.
my heart has not been in a good place, and I have been running from him or trying to hide from him, which, is
Hmm.
ridiculous. Like we can't hide anything from
Yeah.
him.
Work alone.
Restore unto me the joy of my salvation. I imagine him laying on the ground, just can't get any lower. And I have been there, and it's like, restore unto me the joy of my salvation. And every time I say it, not me within me, but the Holy Spirit is ministering, even while I am sometimes groveling. And God does not God does not need us to grovel.
Sure.
But I am basically at war with my flesh and saying, I am not anything, and I am not worthy, and I am not good, and what I have done is so bad.
Mm.
And he is ministering to me
Mm-hmm.
that, hey,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus did it, and you don't get what you deserve.
Mm.
And there is beauty in that, and I love you. And I don't
Mhm.
love you because of that. I love you because what was done. And I still choose,
Mm-hmm.
I still choose to show you and to give you and to inhabit within you the joy of my saving grace.
No.
And daughter or son, for me,
Yeah.
I am very clear that I am a daughter. I want to pour and lavish on you continually the joy of your salvation. So outwardly, it might look like, and I am sometimes grieving or warring.
Sure.
People may not see it. And we get confused and we think that that person is not in joy because of their face.
Mm.